Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Namaskar, and welcome to all of you to another session, another live markets with Mohak session, which will be very interesting and something which we are doing after a few days now. So, again, the fresh air of 2019, and those who are actually on my Telegram and come through the Telegram channel, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And those who are watching this on YouTube, you can go to the detail below, the link below in the description box, and you will be able to subscribe to my Telegram channel as well and follow me on Telegram. So, guys, all of you, many of you are acquainted with me, many of you know me personally, some of you are my students over here, and you know what I've been in dealing with. I'm in the past 9 years of my career, I've been dealing with markets, I've been trading in markets, and I've learned from the best in the world about technical analysis. That is one thing which is my 100% passion. I really believe that markets are about performance, trading is about performance, markets are about a method with which you approach the market, and that is how the right kind of trading happens. So, if you are new to this video and this channel, just as somebody mentioned, go to my YouTube link and please find out more knowledge is there in a lot of videos which I've put there, a lot of free webinars are there, which I keep doing for all of you. So make sure you learn and enhance your learning in whichever way possible through me. Okay. Of course, there's a paid course which I teach. We'll talk about it a little later. But currently, let's focus on the markets and some technical concepts to highlight. So, guys, this is the chart of Nifty on the 15-minute. So I'll just make it. I'll just show you a clear picture altogether. Okay. Uh, Being a chartered market technician, one of the key things which I've understood about technical analysis is that no one technical tool is ever enough. So only on the basis of one candle or one time frame or one pattern, if you go about it, you're not going to get a holistic success. The best part is to combine a few concepts. And this is the mistake with most people make. They see one concept playing out and they think that that is all, and next time they wait for that concept to play out. What ends up happening is that in the long run they're not able to get consistent results, and making money on one trade is very easy. Let me tell you, making money on trades consistently and becoming a consistently successful trader with a smooth equity curve like this, that is what is the challenge, and it is totally worth it. So let's talk about how Nifty has been moving around, and I've removed most of the lines from the chart, just kept this resistance zone. And I want to reiterate one thing. You understand one thing, that Nifty has had a deep cut in the later half of 2018, last quarter, and the beginning of last quarter, and then there has been a strong pullback. But if we compare the same thing to the chart of Bank Nifty, what happens is that in Bank Nifty, the pullback which is coming back is very sharp. One of the keys, so let me put the weekly chart over here. This is the weekly chart and this is the weekly chart too. So you see, Bank Nifty is clearly outperforming the Nifty. That means that more banking stocks are obviously participating on the upside. This is one of the key questions which are being asked. And what I want to talk about is, first and foremost, let's understand something called market breadth. What is market breadth? Okay. Those who are my students already have an idea. They've been taught in the course. But to the new people over here, market breadth means that when the market goes up, at the same time, what does the market consist of? Okay. Okay. What the market consists of, okay, is that just 1 second, somebody is messaging over here. Mr. Abhi Kumar, you're saying join me on Telegram, etc., for free tips, etc. First of all, no one else can see your message, and you are here to learn. You please stick to that. Don't stick to things which are not wanted. And we are here in a healthy way. I hope you understand and make the most of it, right? So if you can understand, that the fall which has happened over here and there's a pullback over here. Nifty consists of a certain group of stocks, it's 50 stocks, right? And bank nifty consists of different constituents of different proportion of the banking stocks. So major banking stocks over here and nifty 50 stocks, which also include some banks over here. So when the market is going up in the recent last 7, 8, 20 weeks, whatever, from this to this, and when the market is going from here to here, let me just pull out a marker. Yeah. So when the market is going from here to here, the market is going from here to here. A lot of stocks are also participating, obviously more on the upside. That is why the broader picture is going up. But in the case of Nifty at the moment, we see that there are certain sectors like the steel sector, and pharma has been sideways and IT has been a little bullish. So there's a mixed bag. It's not a very secular participation on each and every sector, right? So when we look at it sector wise, we are looking at a market breadth which is not super strong. Whereas when the big reversal comes, when the larger time frame reversal comes, the big reversal comes, generally there is a participation of a lot of sector. Now, over here on the bank, a lot of banks are actually outperforming compared to the stocks, and the banking sector has been fiery. Therefore, the pullback over here in the bank nifty is far more sharp compared to the nifty. Now, one more question is this a pullback or this continue a uptrend? We don't know, we'll have to find out, but let's focus on the technicals which we can see. So, this is the weekly chart of bank nifty. And over here, and you all can go back to the date. I had spoken about Bank Nifty, and this is the 4th of September. Around this date, you will find a live video on my YouTube channel. You can go to the date. I had mentioned how bearish this is, and I had mentioned that there is a medium term downtrend which is about to come, and we have seen a lot of down moves. Over here, we have also mentioned about a lot of up moves, etc. But that is a different story. You can always go back and check. What I mean to say is that when over here we saw a breakout on the downside. So if we see a breakout on the downside, what does it signify, guys? Every technical tool has a certain significance. The first significance is that buyers over here that are trying to protect, the buyers over here that are trying to protect. One second, I'll just draw. The buyers over here that are trying to protect the prices, there are a lot of buy orders over here which get taken out by sell orders. Now, according to a technical picture, this is a distribution pattern, but there is a logic behind it. That's what I'm trying to say. And when there's a logic behind it, we can obviously decipher that obviously these interaction points, which is the interaction point, become very, very important, and the market is approaching this interaction point. Okay, this is for bank nifty. Now let's take up nifty. On the nifty index, the similar things which happened of that scale, okay, of that magnitude, did happen up here. Okay, did happen while we were in the September, and while bank nifty had actually started outperforming more, right? But there was a major consolidation which we can see over here, and I have marked this out already. And the market approaching over here, this space the market is approaching, and we see that there's this similarity between nifty and bank nifty, that both of them are approaching areas of massive selling pressure. Not that they are, and in case of nifty, not that it is approaching, it has already approached quite a few weeks back, okay, more than 2 weeks back, and we have seen it not being able to surpass these area of 10,900 to 10,950 zone. So when we see this, at the same time, we see something happening with the bank nifty that is approaching this area. There is a lot of lingering of weakness which can be smelt over here. There's a smell of weakness which is over here, right? But at the same time, we have to notice that why has the market come up so much, and what are the stocks which have participated along with it. So of course, we will just now discuss some stocks, and then we'll get back to the hourly charts of bank nifty and nifty. Okay, we'll get back to the hourly charts, etc., and then we'll discover more of how these things go. But the point is that when there is a mixed breadth, do not expect the market to move one direction in a very big way. Okay, therefore we have been seeing the sideways market which is going on. So we mix the two evidences which we see. So first evidence we see is the market is going up. First it is going up, right? From November onwards, it's going up. So there's a very first evidence we see that the market is in a short-term uptrend. The second evidence we see is that the market has approached certain important resistance area, but still it has maintained that uptrend and made a higher high, right? The third evidence we see is in the market breadth is a mixed bag. And I'm taking very simple evidence which one does not need to analyze also so much. But when my students, when they sit, they analyze the weekly charts and the candlesticks and the RSI and everything put together, right? And we're going to get into the Elliott wave theory also, which also they're equipped to analyze. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, that the majority of evidences which are coming together, and therefore if the market is directionless, if the market has not shown any significant direction, do not bother. Do not bother. Let the price data come in. Let the market unfold. Okay. Now, sir, if I don't bother, what do I do? Then what you do is you stick to the stocks. You go long on the stocks which are showing you an uptrend. So yesterday, when I mentioned about UPL over here, okay. Now, obviously, there was a wave count perspective, which I'm going to discuss right now. At the same time, in the recent past, I had also mentioned to my students about Tata Motors, and again in the Telegram channel about Bharti Airtel. So we're going to take up these few stocks and analyze what is going on over here, right? So in case of, which stock do you want to start with? And before that, if you understood everything, please raise your hands once. Till now, whatever I've said, if you've understood everything, please raise your hands once. I want you all to participate. I want you all to understand the subtle nature, right? Thank you so much. Right. Now you see these four stocks on your screen. These are the charts which include, okay, you can ignore Bank Nifty. We are just discussing these three stock specifics at the moment. Okay. So let's start with the stock which is over here, Bharti Airtel, right? Now, I'm going to zoom into this chart. Yeah. Yes, this is the chart Bharti Airtel. Now, obviously, this is a very long-term sideways movement which has happened. And starting from the weekly chart, because I like to take a bird's eye point of view most of the times. I like that bird's eye point of view because it's the bigger moves that give the push to the smaller moves, and it is the smaller moves from where the bigger moves start. So you have to go inside out and outside in. So if we look at the weekly chart of Bharti Airtel, we see that these interaction zones of major support areas are coming in. Okay. Now, interaction zone of major support areas means that when the price, which has memory, the prices have memory, right? So when the price revisits these areas, we see how there's a different kind of a behavior. Okay. But so if something comes at support, do we buy? No. You have to understand that technical analysis is about mixing up variable things and understanding that these different variables. So first, when I start with the weekly chart, my first observation is with the weekly candles, right? Now, most amazing observation with the weekly candles which came about to me is that we saw a couple of candles over here with lower wicks, significant lower wicks, okay? And when the price has revisited the zone of this lower wick candle, when the price has revisited this zone of this lower wick candle, it has shown a very bullish looking weekly candle, right? So this was my first evidence towards which I got attracted to Bharti Airtel. Okay, then I tracked it on the weekly chart, on the daily chart, and again on the weekly chart, I realized that it is, if we cut it open to the weekly, it is moving in a sideways motion. So when this sideways patch or motion was going on, this is again telling me that on one end there are sellers that are trying to protect these areas. Like over here also there are a lot of sellers. But over here is what I'm trying to talk about. This line. So there are sellers that are trying to protect this area. And there is an ongoing push from the weekly chart as well. There is an ongoing push from the weekly chart over there as well, and the sellers are trying to protect this area. So there is something which can come up. So what is it that can come up is what the price shows to us eventually. So a few days back, Bharti Airtel, it gapped up and broke out from these resistance zone. So this resistance zone on the hourly chart now, and therefore this move which has a spout has come about. Right? Everybody got it. Why Bharti Airtel was a positional buy? Everybody got it, right? Thank you for raising your hands. Now, what is it in the Elliott perspective, in the Elliott wave theory perspective, is what I want to share. Okay. Now, please don't try it at home with half knowledge. If you really want to learn technical analysis in a proper way, join my course, which is a full 15 session course of 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 15 session course on weekends. And if the January batch is about to start it on the 26th of January, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, 15 sessions will go, live sessions online, and the recordings will be available. If you really want to learn technical analysis in a proper way, you just send in your number, my team will get back to you. Okay, they will share with you all the details. Okay, one second. The fees is 12,500 rupees. Somebody just asked. So over here, when we see the weekly push is already with the market, the weekly push is already with the market, right? The weekly push is already with the market. So this thrust which the candle has shown to me is now, is this thrust enough? Is this thrust enough? No, because the red candle is also showing me a thrust downside. So is this green thrust enough? No, it is not necessarily enough. So what the market does in the next 2-3 weeks, the market is gathering the steam to go higher. Over here, I mean Bharti Airtel, when I say the market is gathering steam to go higher. And then it goes higher. On the hourly chart, at the same time, what I was saying is, on the hourly chart, okay, we see Elliott wave patterns which are occurring. Now, sir, what are Elliott wave patterns? Firstly, understand that in a trending market, there would be patterns of Elliott, the different kinds of Elliott patterns. But just tell you the basic idea is that in an upward trending market, uh, in the Elliott wave theory, according to that, the market should unfold in 5 waves, okay, in an upward trending market. And in that upward trending market, if there's a correction, it should unfold in 3 waves, okay. But it is not so easy to find them out, and it is not so easy to understand the Elliott patterns because there are different kinds of corrective patterns. Here there was a relatively simple one. So here I saw that the market has gone higher, right? And please hold on with clear attention, okay. Please understand with clear attention, right? Here we are to understand this interesting thing. So over here, there is a wave which has ended. It has started, it has ended over here. Perfect. Now what I can count over here is a wave 1, a 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. Okay. This is the hourly chart. We have already done an analysis for the weekly and daily. Now, over here, as the price has come and taken a conjuncture, which is at this very point, okay, I will show you from here what is happening. Okay, just 1 second. So you see this high over here, you can focus on that part of the screen, 323.3, and you can see this high, which is 324.75. So again, from here, the price just does not make lower lows. It makes lows, okay? It makes lows, which is A, B, C, X, A, 1 second. Yeah, so this is a 3-wave pattern, okay? For simplicity's sake, understand it's a 3-wave pattern. It's actually a 7-wave combination, but it's a 3-wave pattern, okay? So again, we are talking about the trending market in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, and we are talking about the non-trending market in 1, 2, three waves. And within this 1 to 3, which I'll mark with the yellow pen now, within this 1 to 3, this is also a three-wave movement. Okay, this is also a three-wave movement. Now, this is completing a very big, a very large, okay, this is completing a very large wave 1, and this is a very large wave 2. Now we start with the subwaves. Now the subwaves over here, which is present, I'll take in questions a little later, is wave 1, and there is another wave ABC, which is a three-wave corrective move. So this three-wave corrective move, as you can see over here, okay, is a 2, and therefore the pattern is expected to blow up in a good trend. So this is my analysis of Elliott waves on the hourly chart of Tata Motors. I'll leave it open to questions now. Okay. Magnesh ji is okay. He wants to take up the paid course, which is a 15 session course. He's left his number. Okay, thank you so much. If anybody has any questions, please ask. And then I'll move on to the next example. If there are no questions, you can raise your hands. Okay, then I understand no question. Right? Thank you. I understood. Most of you have understood this. Now let's take another example. Now, first, before I go ahead, why you should not try this at home? Why you should not try this at home? First of all, is obviously the identification. Second is you need to mix it up with other technical tools. And thirdly, you need to understand that the bigger picture is always important. Because if this is a wave, which is a trending wave, maybe for the short term it is a trending wave, but in the long run the downtrend can continue and the daily chart waves are yet to come about. Okay, so that is why you should not try this without knowing the full picture and without testing it in practice. Okay, now the same thing which I saw in Tata Motors chart. Tata Motors is again, now over here we look at a soundly downtrending market. Now, first is that I have always been, anybody ask me go long on Tata Motors, I say no, no long on Tata Motors. I say no, not going against the trend. But this one time, what I'm seeing is this. I saw, and this is where people get confused and they say, I don't understand technical analysis. They say that I don't understand, sir, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, and then lower low, lower low, then again higher highs. So the point is that it is not, it's just a part of Dow theory to explain the structure of a trend, of uptrend and downtrend. But the tenet of Dow theory does not cover this, that there can be a lower low and after that a higher high can resume, sorry, right? Okay, Mr. Sanjeev ji, I will explain that. Not an issue. Not an issue. So over here, what you see is another ABC pattern. Okay. Now all of you can see this ABC, a clear three-wave correction. So if the correction is three-wave, okay, raise your hands who have understood this part clearly. Okay, I'm going to draw it again for you. How many of you can see a three-wave correction, which is a B, C, a three-wave correction? So if the larger trend is up, the corrective trend is three-wave down, right? Now going back into the hourly charts, because of course we have understood this in the daily chart, but let's just see if we cannot miss out everything. We don't want to miss out everything, right? Anything. So here in the three wave, I see this pullback also a three wave. Okay, fine. Over here, I see there is a trending market and there has been a three wave correction. And now the prices want to go higher. So where do I get a confirmation? It's not that every three wave dip you go and buy. Please don't. Okay. Where do I get a confirmation that the market has gone towards doing something which is bullish? I want to make a higher high above wave B. So this is wave A, this is wave B ending, this is wave C ending, this is a three wave. The moment it has made a higher high above wave B, it becomes a confirmation that now we can be in uptrend. But it is not the only case. We have to check out the nature of this movement also. because the nature of this movement will talk a lot about what the wave structure is as it goes up. Okay, so those details I'm not getting into because I think it will be already complicated for some of you, right? So this is the chart for Tata Motors. Both are strong pullbacks, and this can still be just a total ABC and can go and make a downtrend. But both these are strong pullbacks. In case of strong pullbacks, we see in both these cases that the market is showing us something which is a very clear Elliott wave pattern, right? Now let's get back to Nifty. Okay, somebody asked a question about Tata LZ. Okay, so we're showing signs of a triangle breakout and then it fizzled out. Guys, one thing, false breakouts can always happen. And in the recent market, okay, I was just discussing this with some people a few weeks back, okay, that in the recent market, we have seen that there are a lot of false breakout which is happening. And even though the patterns are very well poised, sometimes the false breakout happen. And in the current market phase, as I said, the breadth is actually such that the market is hitting any stock which is trying to go up. So in that scenario, if there's a false breakout, you have to take it objectively, exit your positions, and understand how a pattern is traded before going ahead about it. Okay. Now, what happened with the Tata LXC? And it is currently seen that on the weekly chart, first you have to see weekly chart. Weekly chart, major downtrend. Then you go to the daily chart, right? Now, the daily chart has been a major consolidation. Now, this can continue. This looked like a potential triangle breakout, somebody is saying, but that did not work out. Those signs did not work out. Okay, so what is the nature of the particular pattern you're looking at and how it needs to be traded will be taught to you in the course. I think Sanjeev ji is already in the upcoming January batch, right? Thank you. Okay, and somebody is asking for NBCC, my view on NBCC. Okay, NBCC is one of the stocks which I recently mentioned over this move, where student really did well and made a big money on this one. Whole move he captured and mentioned his screenshot and his performance. In the recent past, it's pulled back and it's gone quite high. I have no particular view on this. It's a long-term uptrend, but there's a long-term downtrend. You see, these areas are strong support zones. There's nothing over here. See, it's every time I don't need to have a view. Every time I don't need to have a view because the market needs to show some fresh entry point. There's no fresh entry point or exit point over here, or the long or short side. Nothing is there. As we speak, let's see what the market has done. I drawn this line at 10,808 and right now we are seeing the market has bounced from here. I think Bank Nifty also showing something similar. Yes, Bank Nifty also showing something similar. But since we are talking about the hourly charts, since we spoke about the weekly and daily charts, let's now head into the hourly charts. Okay. One key level over here where the market has taken support has been 10,550 zone. Okay, this zone, and after that the market has shown us that there is a constant bullishness, but these kind of sudden moves, and I had mentioned about this in a live session we had before this, these kind of sudden moves may not sustain because the volatility needs to settle down sometimes. If the volatility is not settling down, there needs to be price structure. Okay, so make sure that you see that previous video where I explained with the help of Bollinger Bands, right? And those who are genuinely interested should give in your number over here. My team will contact you. Two people have already given their numbers, and you can join the batch which is upcoming where we teach very wide different types of topics. Okay. Now over here, if you see a noisy chart, a sideways market, and we can't decipher anything in particular, we have to acknowledge that. You go to every live session which is there on YouTube, okay? You will see that every time I'm talking about a fresh view on Nifty on one direction. But honestly, at this juncture, I'm not having a very clear view of the market. So I'm relaxed and I'm waiting for more price data to come in. What would make my view very clear about the market? What would make my view very clear about the market? Number one, we need price structure to follow through. So Some people are already messaging me, so there's a trend line over here. But no, every trend line is not just like that. Okay, a trend line in a proper way would be if it connects 3 points and then breaks. So right now there has not been any break. Okay, oops. 1 second, guys. Uh, yeah. Right now, there has not been a break of this trend line, and more than the trend line, I would like market to take out 10,900 to 950 zone. Only then I am bullish. Until then, the kind of moves we have seen yesterday, etc., etc., it's a little erratic in the short term, but sometimes market behave like this, and you have to be vigilant. You have to understand that already what you're doing is a very skill-based thing, and in that you will have to let go. It's like, I like to mention it like it's like holding on to your favorite cocktail. Just hold the glass sometimes, right? So this is one of the things which I'm very clear about in Bank Nifty and Nifty. We need these resistances to break out to be bullish. Until then, it's highly questionable how it will remain bullish. Now the stocks which came again, UPL was something on my radar. Now UPL also, which we didn't speak about, you can see how there is a three-wave corrective pattern over here. Okay, a three-wave corrective, I'm sorry, 1 second. Yeah, a three-wave corrective pattern over here. Now, sir, this is making a new low. Yeah, so three-wave making a new low, not a problem. We have to see is the wave which it is the corrective. Is it a larger wave or a smaller wave? So there are a set of assumptions we take on the basis of which we can trade. So it's all about a set of assumptions. Oh wow, absolutely. My view on Axis Bank, because Axis Bank I also mentioned in my Telegram channel. I am extremely bullish on this stock in the long term. Let me show you what is there on the chart. So on the very high long weekly chart, we see that there is a ascending triangle breakout which has happened. Okay, so ascending triangle breakout which has happened. People who don't know patterns can understand that by joining the course, and those who already know a little bit of patterns, please try and understand. My personal focus is always the pattern clarity. Without the pattern clarity, I don't do anything. Okay, and whenever I point a pattern, it has to be clear, only then I point it out. Okay, in my sense, of course. In somebody else may have a different view, and completely fine with that. One of the key things which I saw with the chart of Axis Bank in the last year is that every time it made a high, it was not breaking the resistance of around 625 zone, 630 zone. So this 625 to 635 roughly around zone has been successfully broken out again for the second time. Now, the last time the prices came here, they came and headed back to the breakout point over here, and they have touched. So, my personal inference is that we are in very strong movements with Axis Bank. The trend is likely to continue, and if it just crosses and makes a higher high above this, we will be completely confirmed that we are in a very strong way. Right now, according to the physical nature of the pattern, if you look at the weekly chart, this is something called a bullish belt hold line. Okay, and these are the lines which sort of cement the price move. The price is finding it very different to penetrate into this, and this sideways movement is leading to a very strong move. In fact, the last few sessions with the current batch which is going on, I was discussing the level of 625 with those students, and you see how on the hourly chart, exactly at around 625 and 635 zone, there has been a strong movement. So this was my 625 was the very key level which I was looking at, and just we were discussing it in the course batch a few weeks back, right? So which is a very important level on daily chart will automatically be super important in the hourly chart, and if there is something going on, then even better. As in, if there is a touching point which is happening in the short term, etc. Right? Uh, so I have quite a few requests. I will not be able to cater to each and every request. So let me start with the ones which I see first. and somebody who's given two requests. I'm taking one of theirs if you don't mind. Okay, so let's start with ICICI Prudential. Where is this one? ICICI Pru. Hmm. Yeah. So, what do you want me to discuss in this any specific context? I have seen this as a resistance area, and I've also been tracking the stock. There has been a strong bullish movement yesterday onwards, and this resistance area has been important since the very inception of the chart. Because whenever this in the recent few years when the IPO was launched and everything, this is an important area which has been there. So I don't track the stock very actively, but whatever I did had already had such important zones marked out. And then we saw that in the recent past, again the same approach. You see the wicks over here, how the market is gathering the steam to go higher. So for 2 weeks, the market is gathering the steam to go higher, and you see how it plays out on the daily chart. So it's a very beautiful, clear, and absolutely amazing trend, absolutely amazing pick. If somebody picked it up for the short term uptrend, we see the Nifty tanking now. Okay, so as I was saying, it's it's really questionable how things are going on in the market. It can be really questionable sometimes. So Nifty and Bank Nifty both are tanking now. And yes, you need to give it time. If we go lower, I will not be surprised, is all I can say. And specific patterns for short position, when there is a downtrend, the market tends to be more volatile, right? So sometimes the pattern happen in a really unfold in a really weird way, in terms of you need to give the time for it to play out. There will be few big falls like there were yesterday. There will be these falls, and the market will try to give a fight between the buyers and sellers, and then the pattern may play out. And when the pattern fall, like you can see over here, and I mentioned about previous live session. In fact, on this day, I had taken a trade during the live session. I had shown everybody I had taken a trade during the live session. I had already shown the charts, including the SGX charts also, right? So you have to give market some room to breathe, some space to move, and then things will unfold. Let's take up Coal India now. Coal India, and again with the gentleman who has talked about Coal India is also talking about other stocks, but I'm taking one at a time, so please don't mind. There are a lot of pending requests. So in my Telegram channel also had been mentioned about Coal India. So we mentioned how around these areas, Coal India was a stock which was absolutely good short. Absolutely. You see, there's a huge distribution pattern which is in place. And I've been tracking this stock since the time it was, in fact, launched, and then on a few years. It's been quite a few years. It happened in front of me and that kind of thing. Uh, it is not something which is in a long-term uptrend. It's continuously making lower lows, right? We spoke about this also on a Telegram channel was posted. When we broke these areas, these were super strong down moves which were called for. So currently my inference still remains on the downside. But yes, since we are close to a zone of a lower wick, we can see some pullbacks. On the hourly chart, again, it's a complete downtrend. Until I don't see clear evidence of a pattern that would call for a pullback, I will not say that there is a pullback which is about to come. The whole point is that you stick to the downtrend and look for trades on the downside, and if something unfolds on the uptrend in the short term, you can participate. That would be my view on this thing. Next, I'll take Infosys. Okay, so I've taken one question from everyone. Let me check if I missed somebody. Okay, okay, one second. The session is it's a 2 hour so we have 15 sessions in the course, 15 sessions, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. The Saturday, Sunday class, okay, the recording of that will be available for a week if you want to revise, if you have in case missed out the class or anything. And there after the course, you will be put in a group called the Inner Circle group, where all the past students are there, and everything discussed in the Inner Circle group for lifetime, including a lot of free sessions and monthly meets, etc. All that is for free, right? So that's what. So Infosys somebody is asking about. Recently, again, somebody asked me about Infosys in the previous live session, and I said that my last call on Infosys, in terms of my last idea of Infosys, was this little trendline breakout, which also looked like a flag. And after that, I'm not very clear about my view on Infosys. It's a little noisy as far as the chart goes. Okay, lack of clarity is there. Now, due to my clarity about IT, which may be a potential bearishness, okay, if we go, we are already in a distribution, perhaps it's also broken. So if somebody is very aggressive, one can go short with on Tech Mahindra. But if somebody is a little more less aggressive, they can look for bearish looking patterns in the hourly chart. So if hourly chart provides you with the correct kind of patterns, you can go short. Okay, but Infosys in particular, and again for Mindtree also, my personal inference is that we should be going further on the downside. We should be looking at, right? So Mindtree, again, this one is something I spoke about recently. So looking at the patch itself, it is not very bullish on IT. So I would wait for some down moves and some, not some down moves, some pattern of bearishness in Infosys. That would be my personal agenda of approaching it. And I'm not discussing anything to, I'm just keeping it as simple as possible. Uh, Germoji, Germo Lawrence, Mr. Germo Lawrence, the thing is that in the Inner Circle group, once you have finished the 15 session course, you will be put. Okay, it's a completely free group. In terms of it, I don't give any calls over there or anything, so please don't be mistaken. We discuss. Sometimes if I something comes in my limelight, I discuss that. If something comes in your limelight and some else's student limelight, sometimes they put a chart and discuss it. Like in the recent past, I mentioned about the Tata Motors, and the students could see it. And I try to personally give, no, it is not an open group, it is only for the students who have studied from me, and the wavelength should also match. No, so only after the course you are allowed to be in that group, right? And if you guys, all of you, are a part of different WhatsApp groups, etc., and if it is not serving you in the right way, please understand that having a close community, as Mr. Jeremy is saying, having a close community with a similar wavelength for discussion is much better than getting lost in everybody's view and opinions in different WhatsApp groups, etc. See, 20 years back in the market, there was no electronic trading, there was no low brokerages, there was no Zerodha, there was no nothing. Okay. Uh, 20 years back, the success rate for people who made consistent money in the market were only 5%. Today, you have computers, software, you're having a live session with me, etc., etc. All that, okay, and still the success rate is 5%. So technology needs to be used in the right way. Mr. Ravi is asking, is the course applicable with no basic knowledge on technicals? Absolutely. So the 15 session course, the first class where we start from the complete basics, and then I take you higher to the advanced stages. And in fact, I will be much more happy if you don't have any background knowledge of technicals, because your mind will be very clear and you will be able to take in knowledge without any past conception. The fees is 12,500 rupees. It's full-fledged 15 session course, right? So you guys just put in your number, my team will get back to you. Okay, because if you put in your number only, then there will be a clear communication. There's so many people on Telegram and people keep questioning us, right? So Mr. Arshad, Mr. Ravi, whoever is asking you, just give me your number over here. My team will, in your due time, it will get back to you with a message of the course details. Okay. So when we learn, the synergy is very different, because just like I was telling you a few weeks back, I was talking about this level on Nifty, and then the market did something significant. Okay. Now the purpose is obviously, if you can use something from the course which you have learned in the weekend, you can use it on the weekday. Obviously, that is good, but also to build the correct trading habits, to build the habits of correctly understanding how you approach a market. Every trader will have his own DNA. Okay, every trader will have his own mindset and setup of charts which he is very, very prudently good to trade with. Okay, so those kind of things will always be there. But the whole point is, that you develop a style, and once you develop a style, you enhance yourself, right? So that is something which I'd like to mention to all of you. Thank you for sending in your number. Thank you. Also, thank you, Mr. Samir Khan, right? So that's the whole idea, that when we are learning, the learning is there only because you want to do something and develop something which will serve you in the long run. I'm being very frank over here. Over here, I'm telling you, right now I don't have any clear view on Nifty. I seriously don't have any position on Nifty, or Bank Nifty or any other stock also that significantly. But Nifty, Bank Nifty, I have no position. So there's nothing wrong with it. It is just that when the market does something significant, when the market does something significant, you have to take that position. Okay. So on that note, thank you for those who sent in your numbers, and thank you for attending this live session. I hope you all took away something to learn from it, something that you will be, hello, am I audible? Yeah, something that you will be in connect with in the long run. And I hope we all keep, crossing each other's paths, either in some in my paid course, or in some free webinar, or some otherwise. Thank you so much for being and giving your precious time to this today, and I had a great time discussing these various concepts. Take care, guys. Okay, and thank you for these lovely thank you messages also. Okay, thank you so much. Take care, have a good day in markets, and good evening. Bye bye. Happy 2019 and happy trading. See you around. This video will be on YouTube soon. Okay. Bye bye. Enjoy.